This is QuickCam, a macro I made for quickly cropping webcams from Twitch clips. I mostly just make YouTube shorts. One of my big pains in editing clips was getting the webcam to the top of the screen. If you do it manually, it can be a pain having to go through and crop it down to just the webcam and then centering it and placing it near the top. In this video, I'm going to show you how I used to do it and how QuickCam speeds it up. Here's my old workflow. New timeline. I drop the clip onto the timeline, alt-click the clip and drag another copy onto a new track, disable the first track, and get to cropping. Now I have to center it, change the pivot, zoom it in so it takes up the top portion of the screen. For this step, I recommend Orson Lord's wonderful social media overlays, link in the description of this video. And then at some point during this process, I make it vertical. I'm going to go ahead and show off the macro now. To use this macro, I make a copy of the video as I would do normally. Now here's where things differ. I right-click and create a reference composition. I go into the reference composition using my Fusion hotkey, shift space, and add my macro. Now I take the rectangle mask and fit it over the streamer's webcam. Finally, I press on and now it's attached to the top automatically. Then I make it vertical. Now with the handy social media overlay I mentioned previously, I can quickly get this in the correct place. We just created a reference composition, and we can toss these into our power bins to reuse. So for editing clips in the future from the same streamer, we can quickly apply the same cropping and whatever else. For example, here's a separate clip from the same streamer 7 months ago and a reference composition I saved. All I have to do is put 2 copies of the video on my timeline and link the top one to the composition I saved in my power bins. And we're done. There was no fusion work, there was no cropping, there was no resizing, there was no anything. It's done with no pain. This macro is heavily inspired by 2 things: Jake Wipp's highlight tool and a video by Wampus I saw a while back. Links to those 2 in the description as well. If you made it this far, download the link in the description. If you didn't make it this far, you probably found it anyways. Enjoy your day.